Welcome and namaste, my dear friend. Today I'm going to be sharing the specifics around your core energy system, for your chakras, and specifically which emotions and traumas and blockages that actually hold you back in each of the different chakras. So if you understand the way quantum mechanics or quantum physics actually does work now, we come to see that we are moving away from the three-dimensional world, the height, the depth and the width of the three-dimensional world, and the what's called Newtonian physics, which is basically the physical world. We're moving away from that, we're moving in past the fourth dimension of time and dream space, and we're moving into the fifth dimensional reality and above of infinite potentiality of effectively oneness and wholeness and love. And so if you're stuck in the lower vibrations, it's going to be really difficult in this time of ascension, because your ego and your fear is going to be flaring up. I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but if there's anything that's reoccurring from your past, any old thoughts, patterns, emotions, traumas, behaviors that's reoccurred from the past, that's simply a sign from the universe that you haven't actually surrendered those and transcended those. Okay, so be okay with that, because it's happening for you, it's not happening to you. It's simply something you haven't collapsed, and it's an opportunity for you to surrender that and let it go, so you can step into the fifth dimensions and above. Okay, so what does that have to do with the chakra energy centers, and what does that have to do with personal development and living an inspired life? Well, firstly, we need to understand that in the quantum reality or in the actual reality of how things actually work, everything is energy. It's energy, vibration, and matter. Matter is simply this physical stuff, but energy and vibration is the true frequency of nature. It's the true essence of nature. It's how this universe actually works. So if we look at those energy centers in the body, then these things called chakras, we can understand which particular traumas and blockages that hold us back in the different energy centers, and also, this is huge, which part of the body these energy centers are related to, and also which area of life they are related to. And I'll share that with you when you have a chance to come to the Quantum Living Advanced seminar, because I only share that in the seminar. But for today, I'll give you a bit of a teaser, as in specifically which blockages hold you back. Okay, your first chakra is called your root chakra. It's also called your Muladhara, and your Muladhara is anything from your pelvis all the way down to your legs. The color of your root chakra is red like a rose, and it's responsible for groundedness, security, trusting and knowing that you're always guided every step of the way. The biggest problem with the root chakra is that it's blocked by fear. Your greatest fear is exactly the same thing that's going to help you become liberated when you realize that fear is false evidence appearing real. But it is real in the three-dimensional world, because all of your cells are listening. And when all of your cells are listening, you create issues in the tissues that keep recreating themselves in this quantum reality, because you haven't collapsed your fear. Your fear blocking your root chakra makes you feel unsafe, unworthy, unloved, and basically not trusting that everything is happening for you, not to you, but living in the past in the reactive mode. As I always say, the past doesn't have to equal your future unless you live there emotionally. Okay? So the fear is the #1 blockage of your root chakra. Your second chakra is called your Swadhisthana, and that's your sacral chakra. The color of your sacral chakra is orange, like burning fire or the setting sun. The Swadhisthana is what enables you to feel the freedom of sexuality, sensuality, creativity, and the free-flowing fun state, being instead of doing. Your Swadhisthana is normally blocked by, guess what? Guilt. Guilt from things you've done in the past that's holding you back. And guilt is also going to be the thing that's going to be manifesting around your pelvic area, into your reproductive organs, your kidneys, bowels, and bladder. The challenge with the Swadhisthana being blocked by guilt is that you are holding on to things from the past that you have done to others, or that's something that has happened based on something that you perhaps didn't do but should have done, and you have a perception, my friend, and this is very important that you take a note on. You have a perception that you believe that what you did had more drawbacks than benefits. Instead of perceiving that you're not the CEO of the entire universe, and in fact, You did the best you could with what you had at the time, and now the byproduct of that is an opportunity for you to surrender those old issues in the tissues, to surrender the guilt and shame that's holding you back, and instead of actually subordinating to that lower vibrational three-dimensional energy systems, actually asking the question, how did that serve the person that and the people and the places and the events that I have guilt over? Write down 100 reasons why this served them and 100 reasons why this served you, and you will be able to surrender these stored negative emotions that are still running your life and blocking your creativity, your sexuality, your freedom, your flow, and your fun. So surrender that, open your Swadhisthana, and feel that orange energy, that wheel starts to turn faster and faster. When you learn to master your emotions is when you can learn to master money. If you can't master your emotions, don't expect to master your money. And that simply comes down to the term that your third energy center, your solar plexus chakra, is blocked by shame or blame or lack of self-worth and self-value. So in essence, what you have to do in order to find our power is we have to go into the third energy center and actually learn to collapse those stored negative emotions that's blocking that energy center, to really start turning that yellow wheel again and become the person that we're destined to become, with learning to fall in love with ourselves again. Not in an egoic way, but in a way where we truly understand that we are not the three-dimensional realm of the physical flesh, but we actually are the fifth dimensions and above of the soul and the spirit. And when we understand that we are here for a reason and we can learn to be of service, then everything that we've done in the past has happened for us, not to us. Then we can begin to surrender those old negative emotions and actually learn to master our energy center, step into our power, really feel that power of presence and perseverance, and get an opportunity to have money flowing back into our life. Because like I said, money flows from where it's depreciated towards appreciated. And when you're appreciating yourself really subconsciously in your heart, learning to love yourself again, then money will start flowing back into your life. But money will not be flowing into your life until you learn how to really turn on and remove the blockages from your Manipura third chakra. Alright? Very, very important to realize that. Most people have no idea how these core energy centers are directly related to the areas of life. And they try and do all this personal development in the mind to try and fix the money problem. It's not a money problem, it's an energy problem, because money is energy. That's simply it. So really understanding these core energy centers is the core of your creation. And when the 7 energy centers in the body and the 5th soul star chakra open, you truly get an understanding that you have the power of the entire universe within, which in effect makes you limitless. So let's get to the 4th chakra. Of course, one of the most beautiful and powerful chakras is the Anahata. The Anahata is the heart chakra, and the color of your heart chakra is green, like the mighty trees in the beautiful forests. When your heart chakra is open, you can live from the soul, the state of unconditional love. And that became one of my journeys from when I firstly failed in business 3 times, and then started a new business, and we scaled one business to 8 businesses, 4 of which hit 7 figures in under 6 years. But the problem was, even though the areas of business and finance and when it came to building a business and growing was super high, I was still really struggling with spiritual fulfillment and other things, because I was still working in the mind, I was still grinding. So in effect, what I had to do is I had to sell all my businesses and travel on the journey. I went deeper to the jungle of Peru and spent a long time in Peru, living with nature, living with the shamans, doing lots of medicine work in order to move more consciously from the head to the heart. We know now in neurology that there are more neurons, more nerve cells going from the heart to the head than from the head to the heart. So the brain is actually receiving more signals from the heart instead of the other way around. So what does that mean to us? Well, it means that right now most of us are living in a stressful state in the mind, and all suffering begins and ends in the mind. The reason why you suffer is because 1, you have a projection that things should be different, or 2, you have an expectation that's not been fulfilled, or 3, you're actually looking at it as in not owning what's happening, and you're believing and feeling that all of these blockages are actually real. They're not real, they're just lower 3-dimensional frequencies trying to hold you back from ascending into your awareness. And one of the most powerful ways you can ascend and open your awareness, it really is to bust open your heart chakra. So my question to you is this: how much of the time How many of the 168 hours that you have available to you every single week are you living with an awareness of an open heart? Because you really can begin to make every single moment more magical. Like Einstein said, there is no past, there is no future, for eternity is in the now. And I want you to live with an open heart and experience the magic of every moment. When your heart chakra is open, you experience healing, compassion, love and gratitude at levels unlike ever before. But the heart chakra, anahata, is primarily blocked by grief, sadness over past places, people and events, and also anger. So how often are you experiencing grief? What are you grieving right now? What are you sad over? And where do you have anger and attachment? Well, if you realize that the heart is blocked by these things, you can surrender it, because the power of love is much stronger than the power of fear. And understanding that you can open your heart. Firstly, whatever you're grieving, I understand, because we are an emotional species. We're emotional creatures. Emotion is energy in motion unless it's stuck. And grief really blocks the energy chakra, the heart chakra, and sadness blocks the heart chakra, and anger blocks the heart chakra. And what happens is that you end up living in the past in those lower dimensional frequencies. So surrender grief. Because everything that has happened by divine design. I understand that you're still grieving something, but it's time to let it go. Whatever you're grieving wants you to surrender it back to wherever it came from, so you can open your heart and learn to live in the heart again. Learn to live a life of unconditional love. For that is the true essence of your being. Sadness, surrender it now. Let it go. It no longer serves you. Anger, being angry is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to be affected by it. Let go of your anger right now. Let go and come back into the truth of the heart. Let anahata guide you on the way, and live with an open heart, and make the rest of your life the most magical moment every single time. Open your heart. Then you come to the fifth energy center. The fifth energy center is called Vishuddha, and Vishuddha is your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is responsible not just for speaking your truth, because we know that when we're not speaking our truth, we're going to have problems with our throat and all the way around our neck. But it's also responsible for living a life that is congruent to you. Remember, as I say, Ronnie Ward, the palliative nurse that did research on thousands of people on their deathbed, found that the number one common regret of thousands of Australians on their deathbed was, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to me and not the life that other people expected of me. So when you're living a life that's not congruent to your spiritual vibration, that's not congruent to your heart's truest desire, you're going to be filled with procrastination, hesitation, frustration, desperation, and depression, because the universe is trying to help you open up your throat chakra and allow this to surrender the lies. Because of Vishuddha, your throat is blocked by lies, not just lies that you tell yourself and tell others, but lies of living lives that are incongruent to your spiritual expression. So if your life is filling up with all these things right now, please know that that's happening as a feedback mechanism from the universe to come back to your truth. There is nothing more magnificent than you living, being, loving your truth and learning to vibrate from your truth. And when you do that, the byproduct, instead of being all those lower vibrational frequencies, becomes naturally enthusiastic states, and you flock. People will flock to you, because when you're in your essence, there's something magnetic about that. So release the lies. Stop doing the things you're not passionate about. Stop subordinating to other people's ways so just you won't upset them. Start living your truth and putting your foot down and saying, here I am, and I stand in my greatness. I stand in my truth, and I stand in my power. And when you do, you'll bust open the lies, and you'll be able to live a life of congruency and inspiration. When we get to the sixth chakra, called your anya or your anjana, we're talking about the third eye. In reptiles, the third eye actually has a retina, a cornea, and a lens, an actual eye. This is your eye of awareness. The third eye is blocked in absolutely the majority of people, because we feel separated instead of feeling the same. We feel separated and alone instead of feeling whole and one. When you talk about the third eye pineal gland, that's mostly responsible for intuition, inner wisdom, insight, and pure awareness. So if you realize that you are one as a part of the universe, not just a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a single drop, as Rumi would say, you will no longer feel separated from anything and everyone else around you, but in fact feel one and whole. So the lower vibrational frequencies is those of separation, and in fact the illusion of separation is the number one blockage that stops your third eye pineal from opening. Your third eye pineal is the key element, the key insight tool that you'll have to pure awareness. And when you come to realize in terms of consciousness, meaning to be aware of itself, your third eye is one of the absolute key components. So how do you open up the third eye? Well, of course you've got to come to my event, Quantum Living, because that's when we're going to bust open every single one of these energy centers and use personal development to surrender every single blockage. Then use the power of meditation to ascend our awareness into the quantum field and come home again to the true essence of being limitless, which is our natural state of being. But also you can begin now by meditating. I have several meditations online you can buy. You can also get lots of free meditations. Make sure you get the good ones though. They guide you into the quantum field and open up that third eye pineal, because when the third eye activates, you will begin to live life and see things the way they are. Listen, see things the way they really are. Not the external surface of the person or their behavior, but see them for a soul and a spirit. Not just wood and tree and dirt and bark, but really see the beautiful magic of this universe. You really see, and when you really see, then penetrate with love. Now that's real seeing, that's real insight, and that's when your third eye pineal is fully open. That's activating your anjna. Another really important key to do when it comes to decalcifying your pineal gland is eating clean foods, letting go of all the low vibrational foods. There's living food, there's dying food, and there's dead food. You need to make sure that you eat the food that's going to serve you in keeping your vibration nice and high. Okay? Also, you want to make sure you get a water filter that doesn't have all the fluoride, because fluoride has also been proven to calcify the pineal. Inversion postures in yoga, for example, moving fresh oxygenated blood to your third eye pineal is one of the other hacks. Qigong is another one. DMT in psychedelic medicine is another one. That's a whole different story. We'll get to that a little bit later, don't you worry. But there are many powerful ways to open up the third eye pineal, and may I suggest that you look into the natural ones by eating clean and having filtered water, doing inversions, practicing yoga, and really focusing on meditation and Qigong to open up your third eye pineal. Because when you get insight, my friend, pure insight, and you see things for where they really are, then you can see everything as magic. Okay? Because it truly is magic. When you learn to see something differently, the way you see it changes, and the things you're looking at also change in return, as Dr. Wayne Dyer always used to say. Then we move into the seventh chakra. This is our crown, ladies and gentlemen. And our crown chakra is our connection to the divine. When you look at the crown chakra, also called your Sahasrara, it's actually a 1,000-petaled lotus flower blooming when it's open. Unfortunately, for the absolute majority of us, our crown chakra is not open and is blocked. And it's blocked primarily by the attachments to the three-dimensional world, the attachments to the physical reality, the attachment and addiction to the senses. As I say, nothing of the senses will ever satisfy the soul. So it's the three-dimensional attachments to materialism, for example, that keeps you stuck and separated. And I learned many months ago, I went to yoga. I was driving a Tesla at the time, and I went to yoga, and one of my yoga teachers said, simplify your life. For all the objects you own, in fact, owns you, because they occupy time and space in the mind. And I thought, wow, in simplicity is freedom. So I went home and I sold my Tesla. Now I don't even have a car, travel the world, and I catch an Uber or get driven around instead. So the essence is the crown is blocked by attachments to the three-dimensional world. So what is it that's controlling you in your life right now? What objects or materialistic possessions is actually holding you back from being present and being fully in your spirit? And another thing as well that you come to realize is that when the crown is open and you're connected and one with the unified field of divine consciousness, you will naturally feel the inclination to be of service. Because one of the highest levels of consciousness is to be of service. To firstly use your throat to find what you love so you can learn to really live with congruency. then open up the pure awareness of seeing things for what they truly are in the 6th chakra, to opening up the 7th crown to now be of service. When your crown is open, you will begin to walk the path of service. And that's why I do this retreat here in Bali, because when you bust open all of these core energy centers, you become limitless. And then of course, we want to serve this world by helping other people raise their vibration as well. Because we shouldn't have a fear of just what's going to happen to us, because if I'm thinking, oh, I'm not successful and all these things aren't working, and well, what about this and what about that, we're focusing on ourselves. And of course you're going to be stinking thinking when you're focusing on the ego. But instead of stinking thanking, you can learn thinking, instead of stinking thinking, you can learn thinking and thanking by focusing on other people. And the byproduct of hope, helping people every day, becomes an abundance of gratitude when your crown is open and you are of service. Does that make sense? So learn to let go of the earthly attachments that's holding you back and step into opening up your crown and living and being one with the unified field of divine consciousness by living the path of service. Okay? And of course, the 8th and not the least chakra is the soul star chakra. So unlike the crown, which is above your head, the soul star chakra goes from above the actual crown and ascends into the heavens. This is your actual soul star chakra, which is white light. So we go from purple in the crown to white divine light, the most beautiful divine white light you could possibly imagine, flowing in and filling up each and every single one of your 7 chakra energy centers. When you feel this string that's pulling up at the back of your neck going all the way up into the divine, you can understand the soul, the state of unconditional love that is within us and all around us in every moment. That pure white light is who you actually are. That is your true state of being. When you open up the lower vibrational centers in the lower chakras and you ascend your awareness all the way to the top of the soul, you begin to live a really, really magical life. So stay tuned for more of this work, understanding your core energy centers. I want you to go back and watch this video again if you haven't taken notes. What are the chakras called? Okay, the soul star chakra, the Sanskrit name is Vyapini. Okay, so you got all the energy centers from 1 to 8. I want you to understand where they are in the body, what color they are. If you want, you can learn the Sanskrit name, which is very, very powerful. Understanding the blockages of those energy centers, which is really, really important. And then feel into your chakras and feel which ones are really alive and vibrant and easy to palpate, and which ones are really difficult to feel. And that's where you need to do your work. And that's why I'm here to do, help you ascend your awareness, to find yourself, to come home to the real essence of your true being, and then learn to create a business doing what you love and loving what you do and being of service again. That is the true essence of the quantum living lifestyle. So this is Dr. Espen saying thanks for watching. Open up those chakras and make the rest of your life the best of your life. Go! Go! See you soon!